Good morning, friends. I'm your assistant teacher, Mr. Swain. Welcome you to the GYANJYOTI online classes. Students, in the day before yesterday, that means on Saturday, we studied the chapter Human Environment, Settlement, Transport and Communication. Okay, students. So, the name of the chapter was this and chapter number was 7. So, we studied half of the chapter. Today we will complete the rest of the chapter. So, students, what we studied, let us recall. Means, first of all, the definition was settlement. What do you mean by settlement? It means, students, a cluster of houses is called a settlement. It's very simple. Then, students, the settlement word was divided into two parts. The first one is temporary settlement and the second one is permanent settlement. Students, what does it mean? It means where the people live in a residence or in a place for a smaller time. That is called temporary settlement. And where, like us, the people who live there for long years, that is called permanent settlement. This is the difference, students, the word temporary and permanent. Students, next was the types of settlement, that is called the rural settlement and urban settlement. Students, urban means town areas where we live. Rural settlement means the people residing in villages or rural areas. So there were 5 types of rural settlements. Students, the first one was linear pattern, second one is circular pattern, third one was star-like pattern, fourth one was compact or nucleated settlement, and the fifth one is dispersed or scattered settlement. And this was the 5 types of settlement. Then, students, next topic was transport. The modes of transportation. Students, in the last class we studied about roadways. Now, students, will study about railways. Now, students, will study students, what do you mean by rail? Rail means train. Have you ever gone through? Have you ever been in a journey by train? This is a very nice experience. So, students, you know that in India, railways was brought by the Britishers in 1853. The first railway engine or the railway train ran between Mumbai to Thane. Just imagine that it has been more than 150 years. 1853 to 2003, it is more than 150 years. More than 160 years our Indian railways has been. Students, railways are a quick means of transportation. Yes, we know. If you want to long distances, suppose Delhi, you can go by flight, but everybody don't have the money. Everybody can't afford by going through flight. Therefore, they choose railways over roadways. Railways are a quick means of transportation. Then, students, they carry bulk goods and passengers across long distances. They help in the transportation of raw materials to industrial areas and distribution of finished products to various parts of the country. Yes, students, you know the goods train in Hindi it is called Malgadi. So what happens, students, in that goods train or Malgadi, they take goods, they take different types of materials like that may be oil, that may be grains, that may be coal and different items. Sometimes, let us take the example of mangoes in summer season, cement. So they move from one place to another place with the help of train. There are 60 to 70 bogies, coaches in a single goods train. They also carry industrial goods to the export, for the export purpose, to the ports. Especially they are exported when the materials are exported. They are taken to the ports. Commuter trains carry passengers while goods trains carry bulky materials to their destinations. The geographical factors like relief features, viability of natural resources and density of population affect the development of railway. Students, in the last class I have told you that the development of a country depends upon the communication what it has, and the development of roads, pakka roads, that makes them ensure that development will be done in a easier way. So therefore, friends, Railway network, it may be like a spider network. It may be in nowadays in India, most of the parts of our country are well connected. But before that, it was not like that. Thus, it is easier to develop railways in plain areas rather than hilly areas or inaccessible areas. However, train track between Jammu to Srinagar is nearing completion. Students, Jammu and Kashmir, you know, the very important shrine, worshipping place, pilgrimage, Vaishno Devi is there. So, there is a railway track being constructed till Katra. Nowadays, Northeast also is also connected through railways. The speed and capacity of railways depends upon the available multiple tracks and use of diesel or electrical engines. Nowadays, students, our track is also been electrified, has also been electrified. So the absence of diesel engines we can see in our railway tracks, because electric engines are more efficient, more time consuming, and they are less, means it costs less, it's economical also. There are places where super fast trains have been introduced to make the journeys easier and faster. Very soon we will see the bullet trains zipping across in India. Then students, these trains are extremely fast. The journey from Mumbai to Ahmedabad would be possible in about 3 hours, in just 3 hours. Students, bullet trains are very fast trains. They take, some bullet trains are there in the world who take 300 to 400 to 500 kilometers in an hour. In a single hour, it can reach more than 300 hours. Then, students, the level of economic development and industrialization affect the daily density of railways. Yes, it's true. Where there is high density, the railways network are very high there. Western Europe and eastern parts of North America have a dense railway network because they are highly industrialized regions of the world. Students, after the comings of industrial revolutions in Europe and different parts of the world, the network of railways started to grow because of the presence of highly industrial regions of the world. The first rapid transit system in India, Mumbai Railway, was established in Mumbai in 1867. Mumbai has a large network of local trains and boasts of having the highest passenger density in the world. Kolkata was the first Indian city to get a metro network. Presently, metro has a presence in many major cities and is also coming up in many more cities. Students, metro rail network. Have you ever been to Delhi? You can see the Delhi Metro is one of the advanced metro rail networks in the country. Then, students, there are some diesel. There are some facts we have need to study. There are some diesel luxury trains and networks are there in our country, where diesel luxury or super luxury trains are being running. Super luxury trains like the Royal Express, now the Royal Orient luxury trains are there. Rajasthan on wheels are there. Some trains are there which are very luxurious. Their rent is so high that you can afford a 5-star hotel as equivalent to the cost of the railway ticket. So students, this was the network of railways all about. Students, you must know that there are 16 railway zones in our country being divided into different zones. Every part of the railway network is divided into many zones. There may be Northern Railway, Northeastern Railway, Northeast Frontier Railway, Western Railway, Southwestern Railway, Southeastern Railway, Eastern Railway, East Coast Railway, then Southern Railway. So there are lots of railway zones in our country, which makes us easier. The administration of the railways becomes more easier for the railway department, and for it is also easier for the people also to recognize, and the different railway networks are there, their servers are there which helps us to locate different trains running on different railway networks. Students, the railway journey is very common for all of us. In every part of the country we can see railway stations, and it saves us more and more time. Okay students, then next students will move to the next mode of transport, that is water transport. After railways, after roadways, railways is the water transport. Students, what do you mean by the water transport? Water transport means, students, the journey done on waterways. It means waterways are the most widely used means of transport to carry bulky goods and the cheapest of all the modes of transportation. Students, in the earlier times, the ancient people, they were using boats made of bamboos, made of logs of wood, timber, to move from one place to another. Students, waterways comprise inland waterways and sea routes. Both contribute equally in the economic development of the country. It is divided into inland waterways, sea transport. Students, it is divided into two parts: inland waterways and sea transport or sea routes. So, students will study first of all about the inland waterways. Among these two, among the two modes of transportation in the water transport category, we will study about inland waterways. Students, in the first section of water transport, it is the inland waterways. Students, what is inland waterways? It means inland waterways refer to the navigable rivers and lakes within the country. Students, what do you mean by the, let me write the definition, inland waterways? Refer to the navigable rivers and lakes within the country. It means, students, navigable. It means in the rivers or lakes where the ships or the boats can move. So it is only possible when the water is very deep or it must not be shallow. If it will be shallow, then the ships and boats, they can't move. Therefore, students, there is a problem that inland waterways refer to the irregular rivers and lakes within the country. Inside the country, there are lots of examples, students. Let us just take the example of Europe first of all. Rhine, Danube, and Volga in Europe, the Mississippi and St. Lawrence and the Great Lakes in North America, the Nile in Africa, and the Ganges, Brahmaputra, Irrawaddy, Huangbo, and Yangtze in Asia. They provide inland water transport facilities and help the economic development of the country. The Great Lakes, St. Lawrence Waterway, shared by Canada and United States of America, is the greatest waterway in the world. Students, I am knowing this. Students, what I was telling you, just remember the Great Lakes. St. Lawrence Waterway, shared by uh, Canada and USA. Canada and USA, St. Lawrence Waterways. The Great Lakes, Canada and USA, St. Lawrence Waterways is the greatest waterway in the world. Students, River Rhine flows through Europe's highly industrialized and densely populated regions. Because students, you know, Europe is a very developed country, very industrialized country also. It is linked by canals with many other European rivers. So it has become the most busiest or very important waterway in Europe. It is navigable throughout the year because every year, every time, every day it is navigable. Because due to its high importance, it is highly navigable. The principal cargo consists of iron ore, coal, manufactured goods. Because students, Europe is a very highly industrialized, very developed nation. Very continent. Therefore, every nation in the Europe is very highly developed. Therefore, they need waterways. The waterways help them in carrying goods from one place to another. India has an extensive network of inland waterways in the form of rivers, canals, backwaters and creeks. Cargo transportation in an organized manner is confined to a waterways in Goa, West Bengal, Assam and Kerala are also examples of inland waterways. They have a lot of inland waterways. Students, there is authority, means there is an organization in our country which is statutory body or authority in charge of waterways in India. That is the Inland Waterways Authority of India. Inland Waterways Authority of India. Students, the rivers of northern India, being fed by melting ice from the far reaches of the Himalayas, are perennial and have always been a popular mode of transport. Students, perennial means water flowing throughout the whole throughout the year. In other parts of India, navigability is governed by the amount of rainfall. The government is giving a big push to more and better use of inland waterways. Students, the government of our country is helping the state governments and different parts of our country to develop inland waterways in a better way. Students, there are some examples also that Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which are also the union territories of our country, are accessible by ferry and by air from the mainland. Ferry means, students, a ship. While the Sundarban area in West Bengal is accessible only through narrow creeks and water channels. Students, Sundarban is the greatest mangrove forest in our country. The small places like the Goa, they have some ferries, they have inland waterways more famous than different other modes of transport. In Kerala, the backwaters serve not only as a regular means of transport but for the local inhabitants, but are also being offered to tourists as a novel experience. Okay students, so this was the inland waterways all about. Then students, we will move to the sea routes. Students, sea means, you know, oceans. It also considers different types of oceans and bay also. So they are used to transport goods from one continent to another. They often cover large distances. The important sea routes of the world are the first one is the North Atlantic Sea Route. The North Atlantic Sea Route. The second one is South Atlantic Route. Students, then the third one is the Cape of Good Hope. Then the fourth one is the Panama Canal. Then students, Suez Canal, let us take the example of Suez Canal. Is a very important route. This is then students, if we will talk about the sea routes, then first one is the North Atlantic Sea Route. It is the busiest route. Students, it is the busiest route of the world as it connects the world's two major manufacturing regions. Means the regions are famous for manufacturing, that is North America and Western Europe. The next one is the South Atlantic route. It connects the Plate Valley in South America and Western Europe. It's a region of sparsely population and limited economic development. Therefore, the ocean traffic is far less than the North Atlantic route. The major traffic takes place between Europe, Brazil, Uruguay and Argentina. Then students, the third one is the Cape of Good Hope. This route is students is the area between the major traffic is between the eastern side. It is the area between the eastern side of Africa and Australia. Before the opening of the Suez Canal, all sea traffic between Asia, Australia, Europe and Americas had to go till the Cape of Good Hope, which is the southernmost tip of Africa. It is situated in South Africa. It is the southernmost tip of Africa. You can thus realize the importance of Suez Canal in saving the distances. After the opening of Suez Canal, the route became very short. Students, the opening of the Suez Canal, this is the fifth number, the route became very popular. After the opening, then students, due to the Cape of Good Hope, the journey was very long, but after the opening of Suez Canal, the route became very short. Then students, the fourth one is that it was opened in 1914, the Panama Canal. It was opened in 1914. It is situated between the continents of North and South America. It is 65 km long. Students, listen, it is 65 km long and 30 to 90 meters wide. The Panama Canal is of great importance to the United States in particular because, students, it has brought the eastern and western North America closer, and it is nearer by 11,200 km. It is 11,200 kilometers. The Suez Canal, it was opened in 1869. Students, now we will study about the Suez Canal. It was opened in 1869, and it is made by joining the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, students. The next is, students, the air transport. Air transport is the last mode of transport. Air transport. What is air transport, students? If you fly by airplane, helicopter, that is called the air transport. The development of air transport in the early 20th century brought a revolution in the history of transportation. Speed and time are the outstanding advantages of air transport. You save time Means you just can imagine that if you will take 1.5 hours to Delhi by flight, you will take 15 more than 15 to sorry more than 1 day to reach New Delhi. Though the travel through air is very costly, yet people prefer it to save time. Aircrafts need facilities of airports to land while flying in the sky. All aircrafts have to follow a certain route. Almost all the nations have a fixed corridor through which airplanes are allowed. Air traffic is badly affected by bad weather like fog and storms, but it is the only mode of transport that can reach the remote areas where roads are not possible and the railways are not possible. Only helicopters can fly there and you can reach there. There are two types of domestic services. Students, first one is domestic airlines, means if the flights are being flown inside the country, that is called the domestic airlines. Second one is students, international airlines. International airlines. Then, if the services are being provided in the terrestrial boundaries, it is called the domestic airlines. If you fly from Delhi to Dubai, London, New York, Frankfurt, that is called the international flights. Almost all major cities in the world are connected by routes. USA, Canada, and the Western Europe, especially Europe, has most number of international airports as compared to other nations or continents. The most important airports of the world are New York, Washington, London, Paris, Moscow, Tokyo, Delhi, Mumbai, Frankfurt, Sydney, Melbourne. These are the most important flight networks. Students, the last one is communication. Communication is the last one. We will study, students, after air transport. Students, the last subtopic in your chapter is communication. What do you mean by communication? A few centuries ago, people knew only a few kinds of communication. They could speak to each other, they could send messages from one place to another by smoke signals, pigeons, or by hand. Then post office came into existence. Students, there are more than 1.5 lakh post offices in our country. The Britishers brought the culture of post offices in our country. The first expansion of media, however, was the invention of radio and television. Television was invented later, but radio was invented earlier. The second and biggest boom started in 1960s when the first communication satellite was launched into orbit. Mass media, students, refers to communication with a large section of the society. There are four main types of mass media: newspaper, TV, radio, and the internet. In today's world, we take this as an ordinary thing, but we don't realize that we almost can't live without them. Media is very important for us. It gives us enormous amount of information. It helps us to know, understand things and make our own decisions. They can help us by the society by educating it. Students, here in this chapter, our communication is divided into four parts. First one is newspapers. Second one is radio. Third one is TV. Fourth one is internet. Okay, students. Newspapers are the oldest mode of mass communication. You can read some newspapers on the internet too. Now it is e-paper, any type of e-paper, if Samba, Dainik Bhaskar, Indian Express, you can read on your mobile also. Newspapers still have their own magic. People are wary of looking into a box. It is very nice to read a newspaper. Still, while having a cup of coffee in the morning time, we read newspapers. Every morning we look forward that if the newspaper has come and if the hawker has put the newspaper in our campus or not. Then students, the next one is students, the radio. Radio is the second oldest form of mass media. Although nowadays we have TV, radio is still very popular. The FM station, the frequency modulation stations, students, here it is written FM stations, are there in every in every modern cities. Every modern cities we can find FM stations. They provide information, we can play song there, they telecast song also there. Second one, the third one is students, TV. TV, it is a magic box, I can say. It is maybe the most widespread media in developed countries. It's a media with the biggest strength. It can influence a part of the population, and with the development of communication satellites, we can choose from a variety of programs such as news, children's programs, serials, sports, music, travel and lifestyle, and etc. etc. Now students, the last one is students, internet. Students now know internet is the biggest boom in our life nowadays. It is the latest media technique in the communication sector. It is only because of the internet, it is only because of the information technology. It is easier for us to find about anything we want to know at the click of a button. We can send messages to anybody, anywhere in a few seconds via email, and internet is getting faster as a very quick pace. And we can talk with our friends, we can see their videos, video calls. So these are different types of things we can do, innumerable type of kind of things we can do on internet. So students, this was the chapter all about humans, environment, settlement, transport and communication. I hope you would have understood the topic. Students, this was the second part of the chapter. We will meet in the next class with a new subject, or a new topic or a new chapter. For today students, I say goodbye to all of you. Thank you.